I'm going to give you the floor. Tell us a little about your models and your career.
Okay, well this is this one I built when I was 16.
You flip this around
in 1956.
Let's hold this
A
one.
station wagon. I don't have it anymore. I sold it to General Motors for $150.
Getting a lot of glare off
what
that.
they ever
There
did
we
with
go.
it, I don't know.
So usually, and again, this is what I've been finding out. Once they go to General Motors, they're gone. You'll never get them again. So anyway, next.
Okay, next I built a sports car. I learned after my first trip to Detroit, because I won the New York, Connecticut region with that sports cars were probably better received. So I built a sports car. This actually is the chrome front end off of that particular car. The third car is the green model you see here. I was 18 when I built this, senior year in high school. And I started late in the year because I wanted to spend more time socializing in my senior year. And so I was afraid I might not have enough time, so this model no longer exists except for the front grille. I sawed the front and back end off of it. You can actually see now the lines where it was spliced. Of course, that didn't show when it was new. But anyway, I took notes when I was in Detroit with my second model, and I referred to those notes. The stylist said they wanted to see more sculpturing on the car, so I gave him more sculpturing. It's a little overdone. But it still got me to Detroit again for a third time. This model I built in my second year in college. First year in college, I was playing varsity football. I was pretty busy. But this was my last year of eligibility, and I kind of needed the money for the scholarship. So I decided to give it one more shot. And this was the end of the Harley Earl, the tail end of the Harley Earl era at GM Styling, and I knew he liked the double bubbles because he used them on some of his show cars, and I knew he liked fins, so I worked those into the design along with some of. It had to be something I liked as well, but that's sort of where the impetus came from.
The leanings were.
Yeah, and it worked because I got the second national out of that one and the scholarship that I needed.
So where did you go to school after that?
I was in, at that time I was at the Carnegie Tech, what they call, that's what it was called then. Now it's Carnegie Mellon, in mechanical engineering.
Okay, and then after school?
After school,
what was your career? Where did you end up?
Well, the fellow from Ford who was there monitoring some research that was being done at Carnegie noticed my Fisher Body Trophy in the dean's office, asked to see me, and follow up to all of that, Ford made me an offer that I liked better than the offer I got from GM.
Okay.
So I went to work for Ford, and I was there about 10 years, and I left as principal engineer of advanced vehicle concept. So I was doing some advanced feature work and stuff about 10 years out. And the fact that I had a little design experience, styling experience, was helpful in that connection. I had a pass to the advanced studio, worked with the stylist.
So once you left there, what was your next career?
Well, when I was in advanced vehicle concepts, I got the idea, because we're working in future ideas, and solid state electronics was just taking off. Texas Instruments just on the first integrated circuits.
What year are we looking at? What year?
We're looking at 1969.
Okay,
Yeah?
all right.
And I thought that someday electronics would be more important in cars than just a radio and a couple of diodes in the charging system. So I took advantage of Ford's continuing education policy and got some additional training in electronics.
Okay.
And then I was recruited out of Ford by a fellow that had a machine tool company, a machine tool control company that he started during World War II. And it was largely all mechanical, electromechanical stuff, switches and rotary cams. And
Right.
he thought that someday electronics was going to be important, so he recruited me to start an R&D operation, which I did. But when that opportunity wasn't expanding at the rate that I wanted, I left and became a consultant, and I had a good foundation because Ford kept me as a consultant for 30 years after I left them.
It's very good to hear.
So I ghost wrote, I shouldn't say this out publicly, but I ghost wrote a lot of the SAE papers on the future of automotive electronics that Ford presented at SAE conferences.
So as we continue through your career, understand you have an interesting hobby too. You want to share that?
Well, I always liked cars, and I like driving fast, so I got into designing and building my own racing cars. Started off in a class called Formula Ford, rear engine, open wheel kind of cars.
Which you raced.
Which I raced with some success, and then I moved up to a Cosworth, bought a Cosworth engine, and I moved up to something called Formula Continental car, a little faster, and wings and slicks and whatever. Was almost killed in that one, and so then I built what they call a sports racer, or something looks like a current IMSA prototype, if you're familiar with that. And, it had a lot more steel around it, so it was
A little bit more protection,
it's
right?
a little more protection, and I won. I couldn't compete at a national level very effectively, but I won 6 Northeast United States season championships in the 3 different classes.
Good show. Good show.
And they were all in cars I designed and built, so that felt extra.
Well, let me ask you this:
satisfactory.
Are you still involved? Not in the racing part, but you still design them, or
No.
are you completely retired from that now? or
Yeah,
what?
I have a half-finished old Lola Formula car sitting on blocks in the garage, but I have started to really lose my eyesight, and I know I could never drive it again.
Right.
I have a grandson who is kind of has
Interested?
encouraged me to keep working on it. I don't know if I ever will, but as long as it sits there, I can fool myself into thinking
Well,
I haven't given up yet.
He could be the driver. He could be the driver. He could be the R&D guy. You know?
Could be.
Anyway.
Anyway, it's still there.
Good. Well, thank you very much for sharing your life, and I
Thank you,
appreciate it. And so onward, let's see who else we have on the floor. Okay, so come on and join me.